Welcome. This is our Tuesday night segment of In the Know, where we talk about what's going on in the community as well as what's happening in the world around us. Right now, there's a little bit going on with the Supreme Court. We're going to touch base on that tonight. So first, in a historic and far-reaching decision, the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade.
Yeah. She just stop. No, seriously. I was waiting for your cue.
So was I.
Well, for you, I guess. I mean, you turned to head like you gonna say something.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Welcome.
We started again.
But no, legitimately, here's the sad part about Roe versus Wade. I don't believe that the government should be able to intervene in anything that has to do with your own personal body or decisions. Yeah. I mean, it's far-reaching, but we got to be cognitive of what could be next. Certain surgical procedures, they could say, you can't have. I mean, there's so many things that's going on. This opens your freedoms up to be challenged on every aspect and on every level. We can't just think that this is just about abortion. Of course, the issue right now it is, and that's what we're going to talk about. Right. But we got to be awake to realize that our freedoms are under attack.
Before we go any further, I know there's a lot of confusion. What exactly happened? So the government took their hands off and left it into the state's hands.
Right.
So each state has the right now to make their own decision regarding abortion.
Right. And I think, I don't remember the number just recently. I know the day of the decision, 9 states totally made abortion illegal the day of. I don't know what the number is now as today.
I think it's 13.
13? I know the day of it was 9, so it's 13 now.
13, and they're actually thinking that number is going to go up.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I know Texas, Alabama were 2 main ones. Mm-hmm. Arkansas, I think, was one of them too.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was 9 states. So what they're saying is those 9 states. But here's the thing: it's not stopping abortion. It's just saying the government doesn't give you the constitutional right for an abortion, and that's why I say we got to be mindful of where we stand.
What you mean the Constitution?
I think you need to be clear.
Yeah, I want to be clear about when he's saying the constitutional right,
or when you say that the government is not stopping abortion. If someone says, if you find somebody that's doing abortions, performing abortions, they're going to be fined. What was it? Not how many years?
99 years.
99 years
and 10 grand.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm saying, that sounds like you stopped it.
Right.
And so even the people that they're going to pay $10,000 in Texas, if they report somebody that's been, or that's, getting an abortion, etc. So I'm saying, so some places it is against the law.
Right. In that state.
Right.
In that state.
Yes.
But as the United States Constitution, and this is what I'm saying, when Roe versus Wade went to the Supreme Court, they made a constitutional law that said it's a woman's right and a right to privacy, that she has the right to whatever it is that she wants to do with that pregnancy. She could terminate that pregnancy at any point that she wanted to. Some states also initially term limited. Some states, after 4 weeks, after 16 weeks, they had already had term limits on it. So what the government did, they stepped out the way completely and said, look, we're going to let the states regulate what they want to do. So y'all can't blame us. So you don't have the constitutional right to abortion. It's not an absolute right. So that's why I said the Constitution.
Well, I mean, isn't that...
Yeah, they revoked that. But so I understand what you're saying, but depending on the state.
Depending on the state.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so
But isn't that a part of a woman's privacy?
Right.
So if you taking that woman's privacy away from her, as far as saying you can't do that, that's not your private, that's not yours.
Right.
At this point.
Right.
Your privacy belongs to me.
Right. Well, it's governed by the state now.
Well, it depends on what I'm saying. The state is saying your privacy belongs to me.
But this is why I say it's not overall banned, because I think Indiana is not on the list yet. I'm going to say yet.
I don't think they're going to be on the list.
The ban abortions. So if you're in Alabama, you can make a weekend trip to Indiana or move to Indiana, and you're still legally able to have that abortion. But if you're in Alabama, I talked to my cousin over the weekend, and he said they even took the Plan B pill off the shelf in Alabama.
Okay, all right. Now, I just didn't want you to go too far into the Plan B yet, because I want to talk about Plan A.
Okay.
So with the abortions and people having to travel, if that state, I don't know, I just feel like if it's that serious for them to take it to where they have taken it, there's going to be something else that come up that says that if you're not a resident of that state, either it's going to be $5,000 more, or it's going to be some other loophole that people is going to have to
Exactly, because look at weed. So we can drive to Michigan right
That's
now
what I'm saying.
and we can buy it. But if we bring it across into Indiana,
Absolutely.
It's illegal.
then it's illegal. And here's what I have to say. So a lot of people are making this a Christian, non-Christian argument. So if you are using your religion to argue abortion, I ask you this. So why did God give me a vagina if the state is in control of it, the government is in control of it, Uncle 70-year-old white man standing on the Taco Supreme Court is in control of it?
You should say Taco
It's
Supreme.
Taco Supreme Court. It's mine. It's mine. Yours is yours. So why did God give us our parts? If you wanted to go get a vasectomy, do you think you should be able to get one?
Yes,
Because that's
it's my
your
right.
part.
Right.
It's not just your right, it's your
Right.
private parts that we were God given.
Right.
So I don't really think that that's a valid argument.
And
right.
I'm in agreement with you. So fundamentally, I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to make it a secret. Fundamentally, I am personally against abortion. I don't personally believe in abortion, but I also don't personally believe that my beliefs should be opposed on anybody else.
But I think when you say that, I think that you're not saying it truthfully, because you
She's trying to get more truth.
Hold on.
no, I'm saying because I know, Clarence, I know that you believe in abortion if the person was raped.
Yes.
And
I'm going to
from
say
that
with some
perspective,
exceptions.
because then if that's the case, then I would say that I agree, from that perspective as a Christian.
Right.
If you're just laying down having a good time,
Right.
and this is what you do, and then you on your third one because this is what you do, even if it is the Plan B
Right.
pill, so you having a medicated abortion,
Right.
whichever way you're doing it, and you're just, that's your thing, then of course I'm against that. But I'm saying if you were really raped
Raped.
and
Incest.
or incest, those types of things, then I say it should be put on the table. Definitely.
Or I do believe I don't see an abortion because they're also talking about, say like you have a tubular pregnancy, and they're
It's
saying,
unhealthy for you,
right? But they're saying that is still an abortion.
Right.
I think that's a life-saving measure.
And there are no exceptions. We have to remember. So you say rape, it's okay. There are no exceptions to this rule. Like we said, if it is banned, it is banned. So a lot of times, like V was stating, an abortion is a medical procedure, sometimes a life-saving procedure.
I need to look at it a little deeper, because I was thinking that they were saying, I know at one point I thought they were saying that no cost.
Some states are saying that,
Yeah,
but I don't know which
but there's
states.
right, and then there's others that are saying, if it's rape or incest.
So at this point, when it comes to the abortion, if my wife, if I was married, were to get pregnant and the baby was going to kill her in a state of Alabama or Texas somewhere, they would let it die. They let my wife die.
That's what it sounds like.
I mean, that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. And at this point, you're not finna take my wife's life because of your little funky beliefs.
Well, then you have to go out of town.
I'm not going out of town, because guess what? At this point,
Go out of town.
I'm not going nowhere, because at this point, you telling me my wife's life is not worth anything.
Yeah.
I know, but listen.
No,
John
you're not
Q,
going to tell me that.
John Q.
Yeah, it will be a John
Okay,
Q.
I already know.
Because at this point, you telling me my wife's life is not worth anything because of your beliefs. Get over
Right.
your belief. I'm going to save my wife.
And that means you're going to get some gas in the car.
No, I'm
and
not
you're
getting no
gonna-
gas. I'm going to get this doctor. I'm John Q in it.
Yeah.
Hey, you finna handle this business, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel you. But so there's so many other things that's going to happen and can happen from a negative perspective with this being passed.
Yeah.
And so we know just like it was before abortions became legal at whatever point in whichever
Some shady
state.
stuff going on.
Yes, they were doing them on the black market.
Right. 'Cause
Women were dying because they were getting these abortions and they were subject to all kind of different infections and things that was
right.
going
It's
on.
not going to
So-
stop abortions. It's going to stop safe abortions
That's
that
it.
are medically
That's it.
observed. And I look at it too. My daughter is 17, and while I have instilled waiting until marriage, I've instilled that in her. If she were to be raped or if something happened where she was drugged, anything could happen. I want to have that right, and for her to have that right to terminate that pregnancy. And same with me. At 44 years old, if I were to become pregnant tomorrow, I want to have that right to terminate the pregnancy for whatever reason, because it is my pregnancy. It is my mistake or whatever it was. It's still my body. So we're going to revisit this. Because
I got a question. I got another question, and it's just this is just wild. Now that I sit and grasp my head behind all this after reading all this, you want to ban abortions, but a woman can fly to Miami and go get that botched booty tuck and all this, and when that booty's exploding and all this other stuff,
It's a really
and you don't stop Dr. Miami.
right.
right.
I mean, let's be realistic about it. You have seen the pictures where a person that went and got breast implants, booty implants,
Oh, yeah.
and then exploded inside their body, but you never stopped that.
Yeah. Right. But
That's different.
but before
What's
we leave
different about it?
Before we leave this, and I want to get in a deeper conversation about this, because I don't want us to be derelict in what we're witnessing. I don't believe that this is just about abortion.
No.
I believe that there's a greater scheme. This is a test, as I said, a test of our freedoms. Think about it. Because Clarence Thomas said that he wants to revisit a lot more cases.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what other cases or what other rights are he want to look at? Is it going to be Brown versus the Board of Education? Is it going to be segregation?
Well, he has mentioned a couple things that he
but I'm
wants
just
to
saying,
discuss right off the top.
those are his, but there's other
Yeah,
people
right.
that
Okay.
got
Because you mentioned him,
Yes.
we also want to put it on the table that he is also known as the angry black man
right.
now. So they really trying to brush what he's talking about aside, but we do know it can come back.
Well, I'm just saying.
If how long he's been on the Supreme Court?
It was when was George W. Bush in office?
Okay, so
Too long.
George Herbert Walker Bush.
okay, so he been on there almost
late 80s, early 90s.
almost 30 some years.
Yeah.
Okay. And now all of a sudden he wants to. I mean, let's look at the grand scheme of it all. Now that you talked about,
Right.
Now he wants to take the time to look at other.
Yeah.
And you've been on this. You've been on this same Supreme Court for how many years?
30 plus years.
So at the end of the day, what? And I'm like you now. I'm thinking like, what other ones you want to look
Right.
at?
Yeah.
How about putting some in to defend black people? I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right. But
He's not the guy for that.
he's not the guy.
He's not the guy.
My point exactly.
Wrong brother.
Wrong brother. Right.
My
Okay.
point exactly,
But-
Dr. V. That's what I'm getting at.
But let's not sleep on this. Our freedoms
Is that
is at risk. Let's not sleep on it. But I want to know, Clarence Thomas, Clarence. I got to ask you, brother, are you going after Loving versus West Virginia? I mean, Loving versus Virginia. Is he going to revisit that one? Do y'all know what that one is?
I know you're getting ready to tell us.
That's a interracial marriage.
He will not touch that.
And why not? Tell us.
Interracial.
Tell us.
He's in.
But I'm just saying, what is going to limit his scope of things, and what is going to, but think
Right.
about it. Is it going to be Brown versus education next? Is it going to be gay marriage next?
Is it the
Is it going to
beginning?
be segregation next? What is next? Because we got to understand that the Supreme Court is the only absolute part of our government. Their decisions are absolute in our government. Anything else can be changed at the blink of an eye. The Supreme Court has to, our president can, sign executive orders on other laws and different things, but the Supreme Court, when they make laws and changes, those are absolute, and they have to be changed by the Supreme Court.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, what is next? What is
Okay.
next? Is it going to be
Now,
women's suffrage?
I
I mean,
know-
come on, Lau. We got to be mindful.
Now I know you're excited about what's next, but before we leave the abortion story, and I know we may revisit it again, one of the questions that I want to know is, so for those people that might need that, what are the solutions and what things do we need to see happen even
out
in
of
our
the states that it's-
communities for these young ladies?
Move out of states that it's illegal in. That's the only thing I can tell you.
Well, one of the things I was thinking is our communities need to have more resources, and they need to have more support ready,
Right.
More options for them, but support meaning other systems in place that will support them even if they have to carry that child
Right.
Right.
all the way through, because the lack of funding sometimes is the issue, and the parent is afraid. They don't know what to do. So I think even expanding medical options for those young ladies, I think, would be some things that Planned Parenthood might need to
if
put
they
in
have to
effect.
carry full term and that they don't want that child, that put that child into the system now.
Yeah, but
And that put way more weight on our system, because guess what? Some idiot decided to say, no, you can't have an abortion, when that person probably can't even afford to have that child.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And then once again, might have been a rape victim. You know what I'm saying? So you forcing somebody to having a child after they've been raped. Now they have to look at that person, that child, and that person that raped them, that child might come out looking like the person that raped them.
Well, and it's funny to me too, because the same people who don't support abortion for whatever reason, they care more about a fetus, but when the child comes out, they don't want it to have free daycare. They don't want the child to have
Correct.
food stamps. They don't want to have. So our government cares so much about this fetus until it becomes a child, and then an adult,
Yes.
a black child,
Yes.
a black fetus. So I mean, I think we really need to look at that too.
Yes.
The government.
Yes.
It's not about babies.
Right.
That's
It's not
right.
about babies.
And
That's
what
right.
he was saying, Arkansas is one of those 9 states that outlawed it right off the bat. They have one of the worst social services systems in America. They're at near the bottom. So you're gonna outlaw abortions and then open up that system where your system is already stretched to
Exactly.
the limit, and then But I also got a different take on why this law came into effect, where it was changed. I was in a conference somewhere between 2008 and 2010. I'm sorry I can't remember the whole time that it was, but I know where I was working, so I know the time frame. But I was in a conference, and it was downtown. And one of the breakout sessions I was in, it was about cultural diversity. And the presenter, out of his own mouth, said that we as white people think by the year of 2030, that we will no longer be the populist majority. So you're about 7.5 years removed from 2030. 60% of abortions are by white women. Why is the timing now? That's why I say, let's not just sit and think. There's so many things that they can do to change. And I know our next conversation is going to go into this, but it's easier to get a gun now and carry a gun than it is to get an abortion. And guns kill more people than, I know people kill people, but guns are a tool to kill more people than anything else.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like he said, you ain't got a right that, police can still kill people at will, and there's no law that says, there's no constitutional law that prevents police officers from killing innocent black people.
It's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on. We can't just think that it's just this capsule of abortion,
Yeah.
but that's the start.
It is the start.
That's
It's the start, and it started with a boom. So
That's
also, I think this is a little lighter news and good news in my opinion. So Supreme Court also sides with coach over prayers at the 50-yard line. Former high school football coach had a constitutional right to pray on the field after the team football games. So I don't know if you heard about this. How long ago was it?
That was 2018.
So several years ago, the coach, and I believe he was even booted from the.
He lost his job.
He lost his
coaching
job
and teaching job.
and was basically attacked, and he fought back. So let's talk a little bit about that, which I think it's an amazing thing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what? He could have decided not to fight back.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people, that's what, they decide to do.
Right,
They
and he
don't want
did.
to fight.
He led. We pray here every single night before our set. It's something that we do religiously. It's not something that we order one another to do. We grab hands, we pray as a unit. He wasn't ordering anyone to pray to any certain God that they didn't believe in. He was exercising his own right to pray, and if someone happened to join in, then so be it. So I see absolutely nothing wrong with that scenario, but I know a lot of people are very angry at this.
Yeah, well, and as Doc V said, there should be a fight, but and I'm gonna say the universal church, because the body of believers, not just one denominational race of church, but the body of believers, we're too quiet and too passive about things that we let happen. And now, again, I know the church has celebrated the ban of abortion, but where were you on the front lines when prayer was taken out of school, first and foremost? Then when this man was persecuted, he never asked anybody or ordered anybody to pray. He did his prayer. And if you joined in, you joined in. But they said that he couldn't do that. They fired him. They took this man's job. It was a whole lot. But we as the good people and the Christian people, and that's why I say we got to be awake to what's going on. We let stuff just go by because, we just let it happen. And we're not standing up. We're not fighting. We're not boisterous. We're not pushing back.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because we know if we do that, let's just say they took prayer out of school, etc. In my classroom, I decide I want to pray. If I stand there and just tell my students every morning at 8:00, I need to have a moment of silence, somebody's parent is going to go off, be upset, even if I don't say a word.
Yep.
If I stand there and have a moment of silence,
And you're right.
somebody's going to throw a fit.
Yeah.
And then now my job is on the line. And if I say, well, I mean, this is something I need to do every day, I promise you, I'm going to be on the line for getting ready to lose my job.
And I agree
That's
with
the
you.
reason
I
why
agree
people
with
don't
you.
fight back.
But here's the problem. I should, as the church, if that's your...
Have my back?
I should be there fighting with you.
But do they?
That's
No,
what I'm
But
saying.
do
They
they? They
won't.
absolutely do not.
That's
They
what I'm
absolutely
saying.
do not.
And I'm saying the universal church because I know we're going to get people of different colors with churches saying, you pick it. No, I'm saying universally. I'm talking about the whole body of believers.
My question is this: I mean, you saying the universal church, and we are majority of the Christians read the Holy Bible, and so if I decided to say, okay, I'm gonna start a prayer in my classroom, and that mean the Catholics should stand up for me,
Right.
All of the other
Pentecostal,
denominations.
all the
All of
other
them.
denominations should stand up for me, but they won't do that because
No.
A, you're not Catholic. A, you're not this.
That's
You're
right.
not that.
Right.
You're not this.
That's
No,
right.
but at the end of the day, I'm praying to
There's
my heavenly
one
Father.
God.
There's only one God, so that's who I'm praying to.
Yeah.
Even though other denominations
I
are
like that.
but they won't stand up because simple fact, you go to so and so church.
Yeah.
I don't care who church I go to. I'm praying and I'm asking God for protection over your child.
Too. And that's where unity comes in. And so
Well,
we're
and
not
there's-
there yet.
no, there's no
We're
unity.
not.
Can we get there?
We're not there.
That was the question. Can
No.
we get there?
Wouldn't we have
It
already been
won't.
there?
Yeah, we would have been there by now. Think about it. We would have been there by now.
I mean,
Gonna
do
get
you see
there.
churches celebrating this? I mean, this is progression. This is something that actually has progressed instead of regressed. I am not a super religious person. I do not go to church. I don't feed into the whole, like E said, I think it's too judgmental, but I am very spiritual. I am someone who absolutely prays, and regardless of your religion, we are praying to the same God, like E said. So I think that this is a step in the right direction.
I'd say
For
so.
sure, for sure. And I
excited
believe
about
that the churches and the Christians should be celebrating this. And unfortunately, I don't see a lot of it. So anyways, we hope that you join us tomorrow at 8:30 as we discuss child support. That's going to be a deep conversation, one that I'm
Lord,
sure that
Lord.
many, either men or women, can relate to. So we ask that you do join us, and we remind you to always protect your mind. Good night.